do witness any antisocial behaviour, please we encourage you to report it anonymously via text message to 0493 334 810. For everyone's benefit, that number will be scrolling along the bottom of the scoreboard throughout the evening. There is to be no jumping onto the ground at any time during or after the game by spectators, and the lighting of flares or throwing of any other projectiles is strictly prohibited. Any offenders caught will result in immediate eviction from the venue with a long-term ban by the club. There's also strictly no smoking or vaping inside or around the grandstand and pavilion areas. For those standing in the grandstand, please ensure you do not stand in any of the aisles or walkways, otherwise you will be asked to move on by our security marshals and security personnel. Our bar and canteen staff will ensure that alcohol is served responsibly this evening, and also please do remember to put your rubbish in the bins at all times. There are plenty of bins located around the ground, so please make sure you dispose of your food and drinks appropriately throughout the evening. Also, remember you can go out and check out our club apparel merchandise available from the merchandise stand at the front of the ground, together with our merchandise partner Umbro, with a great selection of Preston gear available, ranging from jerseys, polo shirts, jackets, windcheaters, t-shirts, caps, beanies, scarves, badges, and a whole lot more. We do have that cost available at the merchandise box, so make sure you get them over, pick something out.
Out. Who's in? Bauer. Just goes from bad to worse from tonight.
I'll just mute it until kick off. Round 12 in Chenol, NPL Victoria, and it's been a long month away from home for the Preston Lions to finally return to a freshly relaid Janice Steele Stadium, and the pitch is looking in mint condition tonight. They take on Dandenong City, who are off the back of 2 successive defeats, haven't scored a goal in back-to-back games, and have been rocked by a raft of absentees, suspensions and injuries. We're led to believe that even just before kickoff, there's a late scratching with Pierce Waring replaced in the starting lineup by Will Bauer. Pierce Clark starts between the sticks. Jack Porayich, Cullen and Gaku Inaba retain their places in defence. Danny Kim, Valley Chesnick, Matty Jofku, Tim Atharinos, Stargy Georgakopoulos, Jackson Lino and Xander Guy round out the starting lineup.
From 1988 to 1989, playing an important role in our club's proud history and community during the National Soccer League era. Tonight we are going to pay tribute to the late Mr. Chris Jankelowski.
The match begins on a sombre note with a minute silence for former Preston Lions president Chris Jankelowski. Minute silence impeccably observed here in Reservoir for Chris Jankelowski, who passed away last week. He served as Preston Lions club president in 1988 and 1989. Well, we'll take you back through that Dandenong City team news. So 3 suspensions. Jack Webster and Jamie Latham both picked up their 5th yellow card of the campaign against Altona Magic last week, and Harry Ashcroft received his marching orders for a 2nd yellow. So the defence decimated, and a key creative force and potent force in front of goal in Jamie Latham out of the team as well. It's a young bench tonight. Taylor Nunal, Rocco Tostonic and Naveed Ahmadi are promoted from the under-23s. Matthew Marham and George Lambardaridis round out the substitutes available to Nick Tolios. For Preston, things have turned around. Wins in successive games and a win in the Cup. A clean sheet against Dandenong Thunder last week. So just the one change to the starting lineup. Jamal Ali returns from suspension after he was sent off in the Doherty Cup against Kilo Park. The Canadian import Elijah Atakubi drops to the bench as he continues his road back from injury. And Stefan Zinni returns to the Pine, available as a substitute for the first time since starting in round 7 and scoring against Hume City. He has 3 goals in just 6 appearances this season for the Preston Lions. Ryan Scott, the captain between the sticks. Dom Felino, Matt Bozanovsky and Stefan Negro, partner Ali in the back 4. George Mialides, Oliver Kubele and Sian Cuba, who netted the winner against Thunder, make up the 3-man midfield. The front 3 of Leighton Brooks, Jason Romero and Zach Chiachi. On the bench, Naoki Suto, Luke Francis, Gian Albano and Mayan. No place today for Jake Tchaikovsky and Seb Carabino. Well, my name is Josh Parrish. I'm delighted to have the company of Mr. Mark Ivkovic this evening as we gear up for kickoff tonight. Ivka, what are you expecting from tonight's undermanned Dandenong City and a Preston Lions side who, after a raft of injuries and absentees, is beginning to find their feet?
Probably a statement performance I'm expecting from Preston tonight, really. When you look at the squads that are out there, you would expect Preston to really put their foot down on this one. But Nick Tolios knows how to set up a team, so I'm sure he's got a plan for tonight to make Dandenong City competitive, and they'll be going for 3 points as well. You know, stuck in the relegation zone, they need to get out of there, so should be an interesting contest.
Well, if Dandenong City do manage to win against the odds tonight, it will be their first ever win over Preston. They played 7 times, 4 wins for Preston and 3 draws. 2 of those coming last season And both of them ended dramatically with late Preston equalisers. In the 93rd minute at Frank Holohan for Giorgio Sardenis, in the 88th minute here at Jenna Steele Stadium for Matt Bozanovsky. So tightly fought affairs of late, but Preston have the upper hand historically, if that means anything. Preston actually beat Dandy City twice in their nightmare 2023 season in VPL 1, or NPL 2 as it was still then called. But that was the year that Dandy City achieved automatic promotion, so even despite the two teams' fortunes being far apart that season, Preston still had the upper hand against them.
Yes, you know my thoughts about all these historical stats, Josh. They all mean nothing when it comes to the 90 minutes tonight.
Surely it's a point of pride for Preston to keep the run going.
Point for Dandy to try and get one finally, but it's going to be tough tonight. You know, if just losing one of those players through suspension would have been a concern for Dandenong City, but to lose Webster, Latham and Ashcroft, that's a disaster, really. That's probably their three key players in their lineup. And then Pierce Waring, who was just, you know, starting to find his feet again and you know, been scoring goals as well recently. You know, he was named as a starter tonight, so obviously something's happened in the warm-up. Just gone from bad to worse at Dandenong City this week.
Preston with the early possession. Romero back to Stefan Negro, who provided the assist for Sian Cuba with a lovely overlapping run. Felino. Brooks. Rather split the difference between two teammates with that pass, but Preston maintained possession and territory here. Chianchi. Nipping infield. Patient build-up from Preston. Kubalay tried something a little more ambitious. And his teammates were not on the same wavelength as he.
Yeah, he just tried to force it then, didn't he? Just needed to keep that tempo going of moving the ball around.
We're expecting Stasi Georgakopoulos to play in midfield. It looks more like a 4-4-2 tonight.
Yeah, probably need to be a bit more compact with the amount of players out. Another fallout from that is Vali Chesnik having to drop back into defence. You know, he has been playing that role regularly, but Dandy City's form kind of turned a little bit this season once he returned to his usual winger position.
And Corey Sewell's continued absence from a broken foot he suffered in the Dandenong derby.
Yeah, I saw him before the game. I don't think it looks like he'll play again this season.
It's a disaster.
Still in a moon boot, so quite a serious injury.
Well, it's a testament to his courage and tenacity that he actually tried to play on in that game for a few minutes. Hot potato in defence as Jackson Leno gives that one up.
Yeah, Dandy City can't be taking risks like that tonight. Has to be a real no-nonsense approach.
It's a decent ball from Brooks. Chianchi was lurking. Well defended by Chesnik. Georgakopoulos. Well, we've pointed out they're one of the older teams in the league, Yivka, but they've got a very young look about them tonight.
Yeah, go figure.
Fresh-faced.
Might be a blessing in disguise for him. Big opportunity for some of the youngsters coming into the lineup. And it's not like results have really been going too well with the tried and tested.
Well, it would certainly make Nick Tolios' team selection a lot easier if he had a few more under-23s to pick from on a week-to-week basis. He's been pretty vocal in his criticism of that new rule. Danny Kim captains the side today. He sends it wide to Chesnik. Test for Ali. Being closed down by Bauer. And he coughs up a corner, it looked like. It's going to be a goal kick.
Yeah, I think the last touch did come off Bauer. It's good work by Bauer, though, to pin Ali in there.
Certainly Will Bauer was asking the question anyway.
Yeah, you can see Dandenong City very, very compact. Not much distance between either of those lines, between midfield and defence and midfield and attack. Just try and suffocate that space and not let Preston dictate too much of the tempo. Which is a shame that Pierce Waring's not playing. It would have been good to see Xander Guy and Pierce Waring together up top.
Yeah, it looked like, well, that explains why Bauer was playing as a striker, I suppose, because you can't change the formation a few minutes before kickoff. I'm more accustomed to seeing Bauer on the wing. I think he is capable of playing as a striker. He's that sort of profile of player.
Yeah.
More of a direct winger. That's a nervy moment for Jack Parayach-Cullen.
Yeah, that's twice now Dandenong City has invited that pressure from Preston.
Parayach-Cullen at least will know Preston, or at least the very different Preston that played in the Australian Championship. He'll know them well. Played against the likes of Brooks and Romero before, representing Canberra, Croatia in that competition. He's been rewarded for his performances in Group C of the Australian Championship with a move down to Victoria. George Mialides shoved over.
Fresh haircut there for Mialides.
Turnover from Preston. Xander Guy turns on a dime. That's a good ball out wide to Stasi Georgakopoulos. Mialides back to make the interception. Cianci. Cushion touch. Cianci was being held. The referee not interested. And Atharinos fancies a go. Shot was blocked. Romero motoring down to put pressure on Parayach-Cullen. And pressure he did apply.
That was great work rate from Romero, wasn't it?
Preston will at least be happy with their defensive record so far this season. Only 11 goals conceded in as many games. Ranks as the best backline in the league.
Yeah, I noticed that during the week. That's a pretty unbelievable stat, considering the injuries that Preston have had in defence.
Yeah, missing Aidan Bryce since the Avondale game. Jamal Ali's had his international duty and his suspension.
Matt Bozanovsky as well, injured at times.
He missed a lot of football earlier in the campaign. Damien Bozanovsky still sidelined due to that scary heart situation that unfolded in round one against Oakley. He had, not too long ago, Emil Payos deputising at right back and Dom Felino pretending to be a centre half. So to have the best back line in the competition after 11 rounds is no mean feat. Preston's first corner. He's floated in towards the towering frame of Bozanovsky, and it's helped on. It was never heading on target. Dandenong City clear the danger.
Just on that defensive record, more than half of those goals are conceded in 2 games as well for Preston. 3 against Hume and 3 against South Melbourne.
Brian Scott's got to be a big part of that figure. Sian Cuba going across to take Preston's second corner in quick succession. Bozanovsky. Header was always flashing wide.
He's got an interesting technique, doesn't he, Cuba, with his corner kicks. Look at that low driven one that just seems to rise, and every time Matt Bozanovsky manages to get his head onto it, it's obviously a routine they work on.
Bozanovsky scored twice last season, I believe. It was a source of some frustration that he didn't have more. Bauer. On to Jofku. He fancies a strike from range. What a save from Scott.
Fantastic save from Ryan Scott. And just talking about his importance to that defence, Josh, that's exactly why. Just when those shots come out of nowhere, he's always on his toes, able to make those world-class saves.
Oh, Matty Jofku, that would have been a way to score your first NPL Victoria goal. Matharinos stands over the corner for Dandy City. Maybe that close call will give them some belief. Matharinos to whip it in again. Foligno can only put it behind for another Dandy City corner.
They need to be wary, Preston, because, yeah, all right, Dandenong City have a few players out, but it's mostly a defensive concern. They do still have attacking threats. If Dandy City can take the lead in this one, I'm sure Nick Tolios will have a plan to try and hold that lead.
Only cleared as far as Georgakopoulos. Negro stands in the way. Brilliant touch from Chianchi, and an even better one from Cuba. And here go Preston down the left. Dandy City players racing back in transition now. It's a good advantage paid by the referee, Jackson Landy. Floated high from Kubalay and then hit on the volley by Leighton Brooks. Never really caught hold of it with any power.
I think he realised how much time he had. Leighton Brooks in there, but was caught in no man's land. Could have brought it down, Brooks, and taken a touch and set himself properly.
Perhaps he had visions of Marco van Basten in his mind's eye. I'm not sure if Leighton Brooks even knows who Marco van Basten is, to be honest. It wouldn't have even been born when that goal went in. Kim. Guy pinched off him by Ali, but the ball stays with Dandy City. Inaba. Nicely measured pass through to Jackson Leno, who's on his bike. Xiaoqi.
It's been a positive start for Dandenong City. Taking the game right to Preston.
Preston should theoretically have an extra man in central midfield. The forwards of Dandy City have been well positioned and working hard.
We can never write Dandenong City off. You know, Nick Tolios up there with one of the best tactical managers in the league. And we saw earlier in the season Dandenong City go away to Olympic Village and win there.
Kim. I suppose it's not that different to their usual setup. It's just that Jamie Latham tends to roam a lot deeper. Gianchi just pulling up a little sore. He's been fouled a couple of times today already. That left leg a concern. Kubale back to Negro. Gave Cuba too much to do. Well won by Paraj Cullen. Preston ball. Zoran Markovski keen to get things back underway quickly.
Romero dropping deep again to get on the ball. He needs to occupy the centre-back partnership of Dandenong City. He doesn't need to get sucked into dropping so deep.
Chesnick sliding in. Kubale taking over. Referee trying to get out of the way and wasn't able to. He called back for a drop ball. Bozanovsky out to Brooks. Coughed up too easily from Brooks. Jofku comes away with it. And turned over again. And now Dandy City a little vulnerable, having opened up for the counter-attack. This is Brooks. Going at Lino. Knocked in low and in! George Mialides with a snapshot. And it beats Pierce Clark at his near post. Preston, out of almost nothing, have the lead.
Yep, it all started from that turnover by Giofku in the middle of the park. Can't lose the ball like that against this Preston side. They moved that ball so quickly into attack. Should have dealt better with the cross into the area though. Soft clearance, fall into the feet of Mialides, and good finish by the youngster.
That's a very quick reaction to the ricochet. Pierce Clark got a piece of it though.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting the ball to land at Mialides' feet, and for him to hit it first time wasn't set properly, but yeah. Just can't lose the ball like that in the middle of the pitch. You know, they've been set up so well so far, Dandenong City. It was really starting to frustrate Preston, but you lose the ball like that in transition, Preston's going to punish you. Now it's going to be interesting to see how Dandenong City approach it. They're going to have to open themselves up a little bit here. Preston will find some more space in between those lines.
Second Preston goal for George Mialides, who's been so impressive since joining from Melbourne Victory in the off-season. It's only a short stint in 2025 with a victory after returning from his time with Austria Vienna. Just 19 years of age, has got to be in the mix for the Rising Star Award, which is making a return in 2026.
Yeah, he's been one of the standout players in the competition so far this season, not just as a youngster, he's in general. He's, you know, really stamped his authority on this Preston team.
Well, you could make an argument he's been Preston's best player.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree, Josh. It's been very impressive.
Takes real character to come in and boss the midfield at 19 years of age. And a club like Preston, where the interest and the pressure is so acute, more so than in other NPL environments. Gianchi robbing Chesnick of possession. Suddenly Preston have their tails up. Cuba. Kubalay. Romero. You know, he loves a dig from range. Instead, he cycles it wide. Foligno stands it up. Cuba on his own in the box. And sees his shot blocked eventually. There was nearly a costly slip. Right in the heart of defence. I think it was Jack Parajic Cullen.
Yeah, the wrong time to lose your footing.
Foligno offering short. Cuba fancies the in-swinger. Ali's the target, doesn't reach him. Hooked back in by Kubalay. There's an offside. Attacker may not have touched the ball, but was applying pressure to the defender who did. So. Ball delivered in behind to Bauer on the angle. Wow, he got hold of that one. Will Bauer does have a dangerous left boot. Probably further away than it looked from this angle.
It's a great pass to play him in. And it was a good run by Bauer as well. Similar position to where they lost the ball to concede the goal, but this time made the right decision.
It's a lovely through ball indeed. Now Dandy City trying to apply the forward pressure. Mielides. Cuba and Kubalay. All the way back to Scott, and the deft recycling of possession draws some applause from the head coach.
I think Dandenong City will be comfortable with Preston just circling the ball around those areas. I think they want to open themselves up and leave those gaps in the middle of the pitch.
It's a good win by Jofku there.
And key to setting up like that is you just need to remain disciplined throughout the whole game. You know, one player getting attracted and pressing it on his own will leave a few pockets of space. And that's probably the aim of Preston when they're circling that possession as well, is to try and suck one of those players out.
Leighton Brooks finding some real estate. Mielides had two for company. Referee waves play on. Cuba slides it in behind for Brooks! And it should have been two. Zach Chianchi was crying out for the square ball. Leighton Brooks couldn't hit the target.
It's a great run by Brooks, recognised that he was on there, got his head down, bursted into that space. Great ball by Cuba, but again, his finishing is just letting him down at the moment, Leighton Brooks.
Well, there was a question of a foul involving Mielides when he was already prone on the deck. Would have perhaps been a controversial one had it gone in.
Tell you what, Nick Tolios thinks it was a foul, that's for sure.
Seemed to almost lasso Jackson Leno's foot. Whether he meant to extend the arm and trip him up, or whether it was just as a result of him himself being fouled is another question. Certainly grabbed the ball there. Forces the referee to make a decision.
It's the oldest trick in the book, that one.
I've seen it go against players.
Yeah, so have I. I find that hilarious when it does happen. I think that was a foul, though, on Mielides. Can just see, it's a great commentary position here at Jenner Steel Stadium. The movement of Mielides off the ball is unbelievable.
Chesnick. Well shielded. Chianchi. Mielides puts it into touch. Dandy City second from the bottom, given their points deduction, and 3 teams going down this season. They can't afford to linger too long.
Yeah, they need to really start kick-starting their season.
It's going to be a tough one for them tonight with so many experienced players absent. But the lack of goals has been the concerning part recently, especially without Pearce wearing. That's only going to make it worse.
Also suffered some heavy defeats this season, which didn't happen last year. They were competitive in nearly every game last year. Started slow, but had a lot of draws last season. It's 10 draws by the end of the 26 rounds. They only lost 5 times last season. I think that's been the difference for them this year. Is very highly inconsistent.
For A.H. Cullen. Too hot to handle for Will Bauer. Mielides. Well, they're accustomed to seeing them playing finals football, Dandy City. First side since Heidelberg in 2005 and 2006 to make successive finals appearances upon promotion to the top flight. Getting all the way to a grand final. Came out of the blue last season, but they did test Heidelberg on that incredible night at Lakeside Stadium in front of 8,500 people.
Bulk of that squad is still around this season.
Romero. Scott. Ali under the pump. Gets it away from Atharinos. And now Negro has Green Acres in front of him. Slides it through for Chianchi. That's a gorgeous pass from Negro. And in goes Zach Chianchi. The cut back to Romero! And Chianchi on the follow-up is offside. What a goal that would have been from Preston if Romero could have found the back of the net there. A sweeping move.
Jeez, great work by Chianchi. Even the pass to Romero. Romero shouldn't have been in that position. He should have been closer to the penalty spot. But Chianchi still found him.
It's an incredible pass from Negro. Just perfect weight on it. And Romero seemed to have the goal at his mercy. A few defenders sliding in front of him, of course. Easier said than done.
That's when Preston look really good like that, when they break with speed. That's their biggest strength. Move the ball quickly and go forward quickly.
Well, that started all the way from the goalkeeper, Rithka. They've recycled it back to Ryan Scott, drawn the press from Dandy City, and cut through them like a hot knife through butter. Lino.
Just second-guessed himself there. Lino needed to continue driving with that ball.
More all sort of started with Atherinos making that gamble on Jamal Ali, thinking, oh, I can win the ball here and score. And it's a high-risk, high-reward manoeuvre, but they were almost punished on the other end because Negro just had so much space and time.
Yeah, that's what I said about 10 minutes ago. You know, you take that, if you're not disciplined in your shape and take that risk, you can get exposed very, very easily. That's a perfect example of it. So this shape is very good for Dandenong City. There's not much room for Preston to work with. They can't hurt you with their pace. So now they'll just keep going side to side, trying to draw one of those players out again.
Becomes a waiting game, though, when you're 1-0 down.
Probably just hoping that Preston force it or turn it over in the wrong area.
Turning it over there as Romero leaves one defender in his wake. Still going, Jason Romero, and took a heavy touch and took out his opponent. Well, might he face further sanction here? A little out of control from Jason Romero.
Could see that coming as well, that heavy touch. He's desperate to keep a hold of it. Probably shouldn't have gone into that challenge the way he did.
He was a runaway steam train there. Oh, it's a cold night in Reservoir, but not cold enough for some of the Preston players to keep the undershirt on. Seen this manoeuvre in the Dandy Derby with Light Maniac struggling to get his GPS bib back on during a stoppage in play.
Yeah, he's off his head though. George Miolita's taken that undergarment off. I've got about 6 layers on up here.
Well, he's been working hard tonight, clearly.
Yeah, well.
Harder than us.
Well, the amount he's run in the game so far, I don't think I've run that much in my life. He's got a really high work rate, Miolitis, doesn't he? He seems to pop up everywhere on the pitch.
Romero receiving treatment as well after he went in for that tackle.
That's another old trick in the book, that one, Josh. Make sure you don't get a yellow card, go down with injury as well.
Soren Markovsky seizing the opportunity to dish out a few tactical instructions.
Hopefully he's telling him don't drop deep into midfield to get on the ball.
Inaba. Forced back into central defence today after spending a few weeks at left back, the Japanese. Jofku. Therinos racing after it. Negro will like to intervene and hook it out for a throw. Inaba. Danny Kim. Back to Georgakopoulos. Dandy City with a spell of uninterrupted possession. Jofku switches the play precisely to Valley Chesnick. Trying to get the step on Negro. He did whip it in, but Miolides well positioned again. Been very, very good tonight on both ends of the pitch.
Done well to get a corner out of that, Valley Chesnick. It's a bit of a risky attacking manoeuvre by Dandenong City, thrown nearly everyone forward in that attacking movement. These set pieces are key for them tonight as well. Some limited opportunities for them to have some goal scoring opportunities, but obviously without Webster and Ashcroft, they've lost a lot of height.
Yeah, perhaps Gaku Inaba is the obvious target. Parach Cullen, no slouch in the air as well. Headed away at the near stick. Kim out to Chesnick. Chesnick's ball in. Blocked by Mialides. Bauer on the spin. Pulled up lame as his shot was blocked. Oh, this is the last thing that Dandenong City need.
Probably would have just stung a little bit. Cold night. Big scores around the ground tonight, Joshua. It's 7-0 for Melbourne City over the Bentley Greens.
Ouch.
Still 8 minutes to go there. Heidelberg 4-0 up against South Melbourne. A weakened South Melbourne tonight. And St Albans 1-0 up against Green Gully with 10 minutes to go.
Well, Heidelberg will be lifting the Community Shield aloft after that one.
Yep.
I'm sure the celebrations will go on long into the night.
Yeah, put that one on your honour roll.
Mialides. First time around the corner from Brooks was clever. Mialides just held up in his progress forward. Kubalay. Negro. Romero screaming for it. Instead it's Cianci. Romero still wants it to feet and gets it this time. Romero running into traffic and turning it over.
Giofku needed to just keep going forward then. It was a 3v3 and just played the wrong pass sideways there and stopped all that momentum.
Bozanovsky. Cuba making the run in behind. Paraj Cullen on the cover. Inaba. Felino intercepts. Plays backwards. Felino with the botch switch to play. Dandy City take over. If not for their 6-point deduction, Preston would be third. Climbed into the top 6 with that win over Thunder last week, but it's very tight in the middle of the table as things stand.
Well, that 7-0 win for Melbourne City won't do Preston any favours. Level on points in Melbourne City now, but improves Melbourne City's goal difference dramatically.
Kubalay. Cianci. Brooks. Mialides. Turns Kim and threads it through for Cianci, and Atharinos had to be quick racing back to snuff that one out.
It's turning into the George Mialides show tonight, Josh. What a touch around Kim there. Seems to be growing into some more confidence in this one.
It's a talented footballing family. His cousin Jack Mialides is highly prized, and that's definitely not on the corner spot from Sion Cuba. Good delivery, and a foul picked out by the referee. This happens a lot at this venue, Ivka. There's a little dip on that far end of the field. The corner takers don't like it, and they tend to cheat by a yard or so.
It must be that big of a dip that the assistant referee can't see where the ball is. That was a good half a metre outside the corner spot.
That happens every time I call a game here. It is astonishing. They should just repaint the arc to be bigger and just be done with it. I think I always bring it up every time. But,
I found that very funny.
Johnny Germano assisted a goal for Preston in NPL 3. I reckon the ball was 3 metres away from that arc. It's a few years ago now. It's now in the Avondale dugout, so times have changed. Ali. Chesnick. Back to Piers Clark. There was plenty on that pass. Clark dealt with it pretty coolly. Now Georgakopoulos in a pocket of space. Sion Cuba racing back to block off his path. Kim. Jofku. Xander Guy. Out wide to Atharinos. Guy overlapping on the outside. He'll have to get it back on his left. Guy drills it in low and straight to Mialides. He knew exactly where that one was going. It's Mr. Everywhere tonight. Back heel from Cuba was a nice idea. That's Atharinos on the scene first.
See, with Oliver Kublai coming back into the lineup as well, it's released the shackles of Sion Kuba and Mialides. They look a lot more free on the pitch as opposed to when Kublai was out injured for a large chunk of that start of the season.
I think you just need one of him or Atakubi in there for balance. Asking too much of Mialides and Cuba, who are not number sixes. They're not those sort of defensive-minded players. They always seem a little bit less confident on the ball in those deeper areas as well. That's a good ball from Cuba. Brooks. Leighton Brooks on his left, and that was a waste.
A couple of choices he could have made then, Leighton Brooks, and he has by far taken the worst choice available. Just absolutely got that one wrong. It's gone out for a throw-in.
Yes, it hasn't even gone out for a goal kick. That's a shocker. Bozanovsky. Kubalay. Cianci. Romero. Plenty of players involved in this sweeping move from Preston. Can they find a way through? The two banks of four tightly set up in front of the Dandy City penalty area. That's a lovely touch from Cuba. And Foligno stands and delivers. Shout for a handball and given. Waiting the minutes going up on Jack Morgan's board. And we'll have 2 additional minutes to play in first half stoppage time, or a minimum thereof. Preston free kick. Numbers assembling on the edge of the box. Huber to whip it in, dangerously so. Bozanovsky And it's blocked at point-blank range at the back stick. That is brave defending from Jack Pariach-Cullen. It was a brilliant delivery from Cuba, but Preston could not convert.
Brilliant deliveries are probably underselling it, Josh. It's one of the best balls into the area I've seen for quite some time. That was a 10 out of 10 ball into the area from Tsian Cuba. Would have been up there with one of the assists of the season had they found the back of the net.
I was going to say it was Beckham-esque. I think it's more Janino Pernambucano.
You just wanted an excuse to rip out that name, didn't you?
Of course, you know me too well. But I mean that the intense dip that he generated on that ball, it made it almost impossible to defend at the first instance. Well done by Pariach-Cullen to keep it out. Chianchi. Problem is when a cross has such velocity on it, it's actually quite hard for the attackers as well.
Yeah, especially from that area. Wasn't far away though.
Romero again finds himself a long way from home. And that's the end of the first half. And a solitary goal is the difference from George Mihalidis, who has run the midfield and opened the scoring after a deflected cross from Leighton Brooks. Romero had the big opportunity to make it 2 after a sweeping move involving Stefan Nigro and Zach Chianchi, but placed his shot too close to the goalkeeper, Piers Clark. Dandy City with one notable effort of their own from the young man coming into midfield today, Matty Jofku, who curled one towards the top corner but was denied by Ryan Scott, and an undemanned Hajduk trail on the road. Preston Lions 1, Dandenong City 0 at the break. Your final word on the first half, Mark Ivkovic.
I thought Preston totally dominated that 45 minutes, but Dandenong City did extremely well to just contain that at 1-0. And Preston should have probably been 2-3-0 up, but some desperate defending from Dandenong City has kept them in the game. So if they can tweak things a little bit and have a crack in the second half, it's all to play for.
Well, we'll take a short break here on the NPL Victoria live stream in Channel, round 12 in NPL Victoria. The halftime score once again at Janice Steele Stadium. Preston Lions 1, Dandenong City 0. Welcome back to Genesteel Stadium for the second half. Preston Lions lead Dandenong City by a 1-0 thanks to George Mialides. With a fine, almost reflex finish after the ball ricocheted straight to him from a deflected Leighton Brooks cross in the first half. Dandy City trying to answer back early, and Bauer connecting with the cross from Atherinos, but not getting enough purchase on the header.
Jeez, that's a big chance for Dandenong City to start the second half. Great ball into the area. Bauer probably should have done better.
Well, probably Dandenong City's best chance of the night. Just so far.
And they've come out with a bit of intent, haven't they? Stepped up a little bit higher.
I expect Nick Tolios will have lit a fire under them at half-time. They've been in the game, just haven't been making too many inroads on the attacking end.
Yeah, spot on, Josh. They haven't been terrible, have they? You know, Preston's obviously dominated the possession, but I think that's more designed by Dandenong City. Just poor decision-making when they've gotten on the ball and going forward. It's probably let them down throughout the night so far.
Inaba.
But for a makeshift defence, they've actually held their own pretty well tonight.
No Webster, no Ashcroft, so there goes your CB pairing. No Corey Sewell at fullback. Three of their first choice back four out of contention, as well as Jamie Latham, who's their primary attacking threat. Pierce Waring withdrawn on the eve of kickoff. Assume a problem in the warm-up. Latham's their top scorer with 4. Waring in only a handful of appearances already has 3, but both out of contention today, so that's a lot of goal-scoring power you're missing as well. Jackson Leno exchanging passes with Xander Guy, who sends him wide for the cross. It's a decent ball in, and Jamal Ali is equal to it. Looked back in by Danny Kim. Cuba. Kim winning it back. Atherinos motoring down the right. Doesn't get the same connection on the cross this time. Chesnick. Good attacking quality on that right flank. Chesnick, a natural winger who's played a good stint at fullback last season and now reprising that role. Stasi Georgakopoulos, teammate of George Mialides at Melbourne Victory last season. Leno. Headed away by Bozanovsky. Kim again. Winning a lot of ball at the base of midfield.
Really positive start from Dandenong City. Just need to keep going with this momentum they're generating. Put Preston on the back foot for a good 10-minute spell.
Negro laying the challenge. Preston win it back high. Very good tackle from Stefan Negro. He's the ever-present on the Preston team sheet that has gone through so many different iterations. Only Scott, Negro, Mialides and Cuba have started all 12 games so far.
Slowly, they're starting to get those bodies back though, Preston.
saw Elijah Atakubi return. Playing central defence last week against Dandy Thunder.
Played a full 90 minutes. It's not bad considering he hadn't played for a good 8 weeks.
See if he plays a role off the pine tonight, perhaps in midfield. Absolutely ran the show here against St Albans early doors, and then did a serious groin injury in training and has missed ever since. Good to see the Canadian import back at it. This is a good forward move for Dandy City. They might get a corner out of this one. No. Goal kick is the verdict. It's Chesnick who is flying forward up that right flank, and they're getting a bit of joy on that side.
Yeah, some good attacking moves through there. It's good to see they're not shying away from it, Dandy City, though. They're having a crack, trying to get themselves back into the game. Very high line from Preston.
It's going to be Danny Kim over the free kick for Dandy City. Bozanovsky rises highest. Spin from Guy and a great ball in, and it was begging for a touch. And Dandy City can't convert. Oh, Xander Guy twisting and turning and sending one across the 6-yard area.
Vintage Xander Guy there. Again, another good ball into the area from that right-hand side.
Throwing it back to his days as a winger for Avondale. Under Zoran Markovsky, a championship winner, of course.
Opened the scoring in that grand final, didn't he?
There was some goal as well against South Melbourne in a 4-0 rout it proved to be. Liam Boland's final game in Victoria. He got his storybook ending. Scott. Mielides. Bozanovsky. Cuba on the spin. Little drag back to get away from Georgakopoulos. Felino. Cuba. Ali involved. Giving it away. But not for long. Mielides takes over again. Brooks. Mielides continues his run. Brooks tries to go around the outside of Lino. Felt he was being held. Preston bench incensed. Bozanovsky heads down to Kubele. Romero. Kubele. Negro. Doesn't quite reach him. Preston trying to force the issue. Now trying to force a turnover. Chesnick pumps it upfield. That'll work out handily for Will Bauer. Don Felino did very, very well.
Great defending from Don Felino. Bauer did extremely well to bring it down on his chest. The ball was travelling at speed.
Romero wants it to feet. Mielides just being a bit more patient. Well, Preston lacking a bit of fluency at the moment.
Yeah, a bit of a lethargic start to this second half for Preston.
Dandy City, very compact shape out of possession, tucking the wingers in narrow. Not much Preston can do rather than just go around the outside and try and whip crosses in, which they don't really have a target in the box to do that. Maybe if Luke Francis is summoned, they'll have a more traditional number 9.
The issue they're having is when the ball does go out wide, that's a trigger for the Dandenong City fullback to immediately go towards the winger and close that space. So I thought they're sucking him in, forcing him to play that pass out wide, knowing it's coming. They've been able to win the ball back quite regularly so far in this second half.
Almost just inviting that pass, as you say, and trying to trap Preston. It's in those moments of broken play where Dandy City look vulnerable.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose the ball in dangerous areas like they did for that goal in the first half. Even passes like that are a little bit too risky tonight.
Yeah, if Leighton Brooks carries on there, you're in trouble and fast. Question is, can Dandy City trouble the scorers?
That, and the longer the game goes, they don't really have too much depth on the bench tonight as well.
Yeah, a lot of young players and unfamiliar names for us. And again, you might unearth a gem.
You've got to start somewhere, don't you? And Dandenong City traditionally have had the best under 23s in Victoria for the last couple of seasons.
Kubalay. Guy. Chesnick. Kim dwelt on it. Has to go back. Pariah Cullen. Bauer. Bauer with a driven cross. Misses everybody.
It's not a bad ball from Bauer. Seth Arenos just wasn't on the same page, didn't get into that back post area quick enough. Disjointed in the middle of the park for Preston as well in this second half. Kuba and Mealeed is just too far apart from each other.
Preston just trying to up the tempo and the ball speed and trouble this shuffling Dandy City defence. It's been pretty disciplined in its side-to-side movement in the second 45. And Jofku has to work hard to close the space. Ali gives Negro a lot to do. Keeps it alive. Cuba. Slip from Chianchi. Can Dandy City spring on the counter-attack? Ali racing back. Atharinos. And Atharinos hits the deck. Waved off by the referee. Dandy City were convinced. Preston go the other way. Cuba. Chianchi. Zach Chianchi, and a crucial touch at the near post. Now Cuba from the angle, and well held by Pierce Clark.
It's great defending from Gaku and Naba to get his head onto that. Romero had a lot of space to work with.
You can see as soon as Dandy City turn it over, whether it should have been a free kick or not, they look exposed. When they get their defence set up, they look very solid. Georgakopoulos invites the overlapping run of Jackson Leno. Cuba will find Chianchi at the second attempt. Romero dashing into the middle. Chianchi going at Pariach Cullen. He stands him up well. Cut back to Cuba. Mialides getting involved now. And the strike from range. Took a deflection, but never really had the purchase on it to trouble Pierce Clark.
Second guessed himself, Chianchi, in that movement. Just didn't have the confidence to go past him.
I often get the feeling Zach Chianchi's better when he just plays on instinct. It doesn't think too much about what he's doing. Just do what you're good at. Right, defenders, if you lose the ball, you lose the ball.
I think Zoran Markovsky would prefer that as well. Prefers his wingers to just go 1v1 versus their fullbacks. So when you second guess yourself like that and delay, it stops that attacking momentum. You could see Preston were breaking with speed.
And if he is to beat the defender there, the space to actually break into with pace is rapidly shrinking. An hour played in Reservoir at Genesis Steel Stadium. A solitary George Mialides goal, still the difference between these two. These contests have traditionally been tight since Preston's returned to the top flight. 2 draws in their last 2 meetings. Late drama in both. In contrast to some of the big score lines around the grounds tonight, this one is still on a knife edge.
It's very, very different to the games on the other side of town tonight.
Dandy City are preparing their first change. It's going to be Rocco Tostonic. What a time to make your debut.
Time to make yourself a hero for your boyhood club.
Georgakopoulos on his left, whips it in low. It was a decent ball too. Dandy City are getting some good balls into the penalty area. Just lacking that final touch, the key connection.
Preston just haven't adjusted to the intensity that Dandenong City's brought to this second half.
They look so comfortable in the first half. You could be forgiven for thinking they've taken their foot off the gas a little bit here. Can't afford to. It's only 1-0.
Yeah, I took the words out of my mouth, Josh. They're playing like they're up 3 or 4-0 at the moment, Preston. All it's going to take is for Xander Guy or Will Bauer to be in the right spot for these dangerous balls they're putting into the area time and time again.
Bill Theo, the assistant coach, barking out the instructions, trying to get Gaku Inaba to get the defence higher and keep the lines tight. Diagonal over the top for Brooks. Leno stabs a toe at it. And it's a goal kick. Leighton Brooks can't believe it. Dandy City will happily take that. And the game's first change sees Xander Guy make way.
Pierce Waring going down with injury in the warm-up. Can't afford to take too many risks on Xander Guy. I'm sure they would have loved to keep him out for the full 90, but I think he's fully fit.
Well, a bad turnover from Danny Kim. And Preston could be in. And it's the 1-2 with Romero and Mialides. Romero forcing the save from Pierce Clark, who didn't really have to move too much. Oh, very careless turnover. Just as our eyes were drawn to the substitution, Ivka. Dandy City played themselves into trouble.
Can't afford to make mistakes like that. They've been so disciplined in this second half. Nick Tolias would have blown a gasket had that found the back of the net.
It was self-inflicted. Yeah, horrible first-time pass from Danny Kim on the edge of his own box. From the man wearing the captain's armband. That's ill-disciplined.
He's been so good in this second half as well, Danny Kim.
Particularly with the forward pressure he's been applying. Cuba. That's some pass. Brooks. Going at Lino. Still Leighton Brooks weaving his way through and stabbing it straight at Clark. That would have been quite the solo goal.
That's what we were speaking about, just backing yourself against your fullback.
He backed himself against the fullback, the centre back, the midfielder.
If you manage to find the space, you've got to put your defenders on the back foot, not allow them to put you on the back foot as an attacker.
Sometimes if you just go for the gap, there can be a little bit of indecision amongst the 2 or 3 defenders surrounding you as to who's actually making the tackle.
Not just that, you can draw a foul as well.
Only takes the lazy leg from one of them. Georgakopoulos, Lino, and getting forward plenty. And the whistle does go.
It's been good tonight, Lino. Good defensive work as well. Looks dangerous when he's going forward. Not a bad area to get a free kick.
Well, it's shooting range. Georgakopoulos fancies it. 3 in the wall for Ryan Scott.
Doesn't look like he's lining up for a shot.
Georgakopoulos will go for goal. And off target.
Probably fooled himself with his run up there as well.
Going to mention Beckham for the second time tonight. Used to address the ball from that sort of angle. Would have required something very special from there. Naba threads it through Romero's legs. Matthew Giofku digs one wide. Atherinos popping up on the left flank and driving in field. Running into a cul-de-sac. Preston change being readied. It's going to be a return to first team action for Stefan Zinni. Been absent since scoring against Hume. They've missed him as well.
He was starting to find some form, wasn't he?
Yeah, consistent scorer in limited minutes, Preston. Here goes Brooks. Felino. Always good to get a bit of back and forth with the peanut gallery. And here comes the change. And Chianchi is replaced. He seemed to be running out of gas a little bit in the second half.
Started to fade at the last 10 or so minutes, didn't he? Zinni will inject, obviously, those fresh legs. Preston will be desperate to get that second goal to kill this one off. I've seen this story before this season where they, managed to cough up the late equalisers. Bentley Greens a few weeks ago.
Ali. Cuba. Brooks.
The difference in the second half of Preston is the ball speed. They were moving it a lot quicker in that first half. It's really slowed it down in the second half and it's not shifting this structure from Dandenong City.
Foligno goes long for Cuba. Mielides. Romero. Wide to Brooks. Brooks with a cross to the back stick. Evades Zinni. To Stonjic away. That's some first touch from Ali. And then a bad back pass. And he's given it straight to Will Bauer. Bozanovsky racing back to win it. And it was shoulder to shoulder. Well, Jamal Ali with the party trick. And then he was almost the party pooper.
Must have got confused where he was on the pitch for a second there, Jamal Ali. Well, Bauer's got to do better in that situation. Been gifted that pass.
Oh, and now Preston with a chance on the other end. Clark is off his line. And Stefan Zinni has to settle for a corner.
It's a shocking first touch from Bauer. He had a good 2 metres on Matt Bozanovsky. His first touch just let him down. Ball got stuck under his foot, allowed Bozanovsky to catch up with him. Really, had he had a better first touch, it should have been an equaliser for Dandenong City.
At least in on goal. Huge chance. Now a corner whipped in for Preston. Out as far as Foligno. Kubalay. Just been a bit laboured from Preston in the second half, and that almost comical Ali piece of skill and turnovers kind of sums it up. They've just been making things hard for themselves.
But you can see it doesn't take much. Had Bauer got a better first touch.
It's a clever dummy from Brooks. Let's pull back for a foul. I think Preston wanted the advantage. Taken quickly, Kubalay. Lambatarides is ready to come on for Dandy City. Kubalay! Got plenty of purchase off his left. Piers Clark turns it behind.
That would have been a collector's item. Kubalay goal.
Got his first for the club in the championship against Canberra, Croatia. Rarely scores. So it's a double change. Talon Unal is ready to come on for Hajduk as well. They're going to wait to defend this corner first. Cuba. Bozanovsky. Clark hit the deck. And that's a free kick.
Bit of a soft foul.
Protected species, those goalkeepers, Ivka.
Yeah, they weren't when I was playing. Thought he did well initially, Pierce Clark. Just didn't get that clean purchase on it with his fists.
And Will Bauer cuts a dejected figure as he comes off. His last involvement being that botched one-on-one. Never got his shot away. Credit to Matt Bozanovsky for racing back and timing the challenge well enough to avoid a red card.
Yeah, safe to say Preston got away with that one.
Scott. Cuba coughs it up. Dandy City are full of energy at the moment.
It's like they can smell it, you know, that they've got slightly the upper hand, I would say, at the moment. For me, they've looked like the better side in this second half.
Leighton Brooks has a problem. Good to see Taylor Unal out there for Dandy City. He's had his injury problems. An ACL tear.
We both, unfortunately, know all too well how hard it is to deal with those ACL injuries.
That's absolutely right.
And both strikers that started for Dandenong City are off the pitch now.
Well, they've made a fist of this in the second half, Dandy City. Can they find a goal to reward their efforts? Georgakopoulos. Leighton Brooks allowed back onto the pitch, so Preston back up to 11 men now. That's given away carelessly by Kim. And Zinni goes around the outside. Stefan Zinni with pace to burn. Now Kim coming over to make up for his error.
Varley Chesnick's been exceptional tonight for Dandenong City. His work rate to track back, especially in that situation there.
Elijah Anakubi and Gian Albano are ready to come on for Preston. Ali, Negro.
It's a much better back pass from Jamal Ali.
Yeah, made sure of that one. No circus seal tricks this time. Negro. This is a nice idea from Zinni. Didn't come off. Preston want that change. And an injury stoppage will give them a chance to make it. Leighton Brooks has run his race after a slight injury worry in the last minute or two. And Ollie Kubalay, who came close a few minutes ago to a second goal that would seal things for Preston, makes way as well.
It was good tonight, Ollie Kubalay. I liked his performance. Really controlled that base of the midfield.
Well, Matthew Joffku, who's worked really hard tonight, he's back up on his feet.
Double substitution for the Preston Lions. Coming off number 7, Leighton Brooks, and number 19, Oliver Kubalay, and replaced by number 77, Gian Albano, and number 21, Elijah Anakubi.
Just under 10 minutes to play plus stoppages. Dandenong City still in with a shout here to lift themselves out of the relegation zone. Nawid Ahmadi is the latest to be called from the bench, the young brigade who's been elevated into the senior squad today. Negro, stabbed forward by Mialides. Negro just overcooked the initial pass. Clark will put his foot through this. It's dropped straight to Adekubi though. His touch was a little unsure. And a raking pass from Lambatarides. Sets Dandy City away, not for long. Jamal Ali. Too much for Jofku there, who seems to be pulling up with cramp now.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get him off the pitch at the moment. That's what the substitution is going to be for.
Preston in no mood to put it out. Albano. Zinni waiting on the near side. Felino turns back inside and is being pulled back pretty obviously by Georgakopoulos, who was just trying to foul to allow them to make that substitution. So off comes Jofku after a high night's work. His curling effort early in the piece almost picked out the top corner, but not to be. And Nawid Ahmadi comes on to replace him in midfield. Trying to play Zinni in behind. Kaku Inaba comes across to win a header. Lino. Georgakopoulos. Awkward bounce for him. Ahmadi loses out to Mialides and clips his heels. There's an odd tension hanging in the air over this one.
Well, Preston's allowed that door to be left open all night, haven't they?
Certainly been left ajar. Second goal you feel would seal it.
I think it would definitely seal it.
I'll never say never in this competition, of course.
That's true.
Well, Preston just need one more to make the point safe. Otherwise, there'll be a late Dandy City charge. Felino. Adekubi. Ali. Picks out Albano. And then Dandy City take over possession with Lambatarides and Kim. Ahmadi. Inaba. Whipped wide to Jackson Lino. Georgakopoulos. Dandy City moving it adeptly from left to right. It's clipped forwards by the substitute to Stonic. To no avail.
Just tried to force it.
They maintain possession though, Dandy City. Never tasted success against Preston in their 7 meetings. Georgakopoulos to whip it in! And it skims off the head of Matt Bozanovsky and out for a corner. I think Dandy City will be pretty happy with that outcome.
Been a nervy moment for Preston and his late set pieces.
Preston About to empty the bench, Luke Francis and Naoki Suto. Runal's in there. They call for another corner. Preston goal kick, and now they can make that change. Suto and Francis. On for Cuba and Romero, it looks like.
Both had very little impact in this second half.
Yeah, very quiet. Second 45 from two players who were seeing a lot more of the ball in the final third in the first half.
Just haven't been able to break the lines in this second half, Preston. It's really well structured from Dandenong City this entire second half.
They have racked up the shot count, Preston, but the general play hasn't been as convincing. Had quite a few shots off turnovers. Lambatarides. Unal with the spectacular attempt. Well, he saw his name in lights for a moment there. Chesnick will go for goal, and it's a simple claim for Scott. Well, for all Dandy City's huff and puff, it's only the second save that Ryan Scott has had to make all night.
Yeah, they haven't really created too many chances this evening. They've gotten into the good areas, good balls into the box as well, but just no final end product tonight.
Felino. Wrong foot's Francis. Amadi. And Preston tough out at second 1-0 win in a row. Third clean sheet in a row in the league. Oh, Dandy City make them pay late on. Piers Clark is out of his goal. We know he loves to get forward for a late set piece if asked. Chesney. Nawadi. Somehow squirms it through. Plenty of red shirts. Inaba. Georgakopoulos sweeps it in behind. Lambatarides to the byline. Bozanovsky heads away. Still Dandy City maintain the forward momentum with Georgakopoulos. Sting in the tail here. Lino. Lambatarides. Jackson Lino. Trying to put an early ball into Unal. Couldn't do much with it. Ali running through traffic and forcing it wide to Albano. Ali's continued his run. Can Preston polish it off here? Ali. Suto! And it's off his thigh and straight to Clark.
Great run by Ali. We've seen him do that time and time again in this competition.
Dandy City can't connect in the final third. Unal wrong-footed by the pass from Chesnick. Mialides. Albano. 4 minutes up. We're on the fourth official's board. Enough time for Dandy City to get something.
The players will see that stoppage time go up now, so they'll start going for it.
Lino, full of running. Amadi. So many youngsters on the pitch now for Dandy City. Georgakopoulos took a heavy touch and invited Stefan Zinni to make the tackle. We're going to have an injury stoppage. Just pulled up lame on making that clearance. Well, around the ground, so Oakley Cannons have broken the deadlock late against Dandy Thunder, not once but twice. 94th and 95th minute goals.
Oh.
The late show for CT's side. That result will be music to the ears of Dandy City's bench, not that they're focused on it at the moment. Suto brought down cynically. Full time at Churchill Reserve. St Albans have the 1-0 win against Green Gully. Solitary goal from Lockie Weir. Heidelberg and Melbourne City heavy winners tonight against South Melbourne and Bentley Greens respectively. 11 goals between the two sides. Preston on a late burst forward, and, well, that's an ugly tackle. Noati goes into the book.
Fortunate that was just the yellow card. Nasty challenge. Had to make it though. Miletis was away.
And I think the presence of the covering defenders has saved him, but it's a nasty tackle indeed.
Able to milk some time off the clock now, Preston as well. Becoming the 1-0 masters, Preston.
Boring Preston. Not what we expected under Zoran Markovski.
No.
Well, Dandy City will be the masters of the 1-0 defeat if this holds. 3 in a row. Offside. Wow.
Jeez. If Dandenong City can manage to find an equaliser from this play.
When time wasting goes wrong.
Ooh.
That's brutal. And Francis is offside again. Didn't have much choice about that one.
Yes. Still had an option to come back and be onside. I'm sure Piers Clark will pinch every centimetre possible here.
Oh, the entire Preston bench is up in arms.
And the crowd.
So are the fans. Letting Piers Clark know about it. Has he dragged it back far enough? Long punt forward. In Arbour. Bozanovsky away. He's been a colossus at the back tonight. Suto battling with Georgakopoulos. And now Preston are away through Mialides. And Albano. Clark off his line. Albano slides it through. Francis offside. Well, they haven't heard the news in the grandstand yet. Luke Francis offside for the 3rd time in as many minutes. But it won't matter. Preston Lions squeak over the line with a 1-0 win over an undermanned Dandenong City. George Mialides with the first half goal. A bizarre ending to this game as Luke Francis tucks away what would have been the sealer, but for the offside flag to go up and rather spoil the celebrations. Preston Lions won't care. They've got the job done. A second successive victory and a second successive clean sheet, the 1-0. That's 3 in the row in the league now. 4 in a row, including the cup. So Soren Markovsky's side beginning to pick up some form. For Dandenong City, with 3 of their key men serving suspensions, they battled bravely. Just didn't quite have enough attacking firepower to make Preston pay. Mark Ivkovic, your final thoughts on this one?
It was a grind for Preston, but like we said, they're becoming the masters of grinding out these wins at the moment. Dandenong City, they can hold their heads up quite high. I thought that was an impressive second half from them. Very disciplined. Didn't create too many chances, but with the players that they had out tonight, it was always going to be an uphill battle. So they didn't disgrace themselves. Good solid performance from them. Made it difficult for Preston all night, but Preston with enough quality to see the game out and get all 3 points.
Well, we'll wrap things up here at Genesteel Stadium on a cold night in Reservoir. Preston Lions continue their gradual climb up the NPL Victoria table with another victory for Dandenong City. It's a 3rd successive defeat and back to the drawing board for Nick Tolios. The final score at Genesteel Stadium, Preston Lions 1, Dandenong City 0.
Wayne or Mike?
Mike. Mike and auto. You can unplug the other XLR as well. It's not doing anything.
Yeah, I will. Yes, sir.
Well, Melbourne have really blown it up, haven't they?